Alrighty, y'all. What is up? So, it's day number 16 on main game. Today is just large cardio day. We're gonna knock out 2.5 mile walks today. Get our 10K steps in. Nothing crazy. And gotta do abs a little bit later. But it's gonna be a nice day. It's also Father's Day out there, so any of you fathers that might run across this, happy Father's Day. But later on today, we're going to be taking stepdad and mom out to dinner. It's the norm for any of their holidays, birthday stuff, is take them out for a good meal wherever they want to go. But I think that'll be a good thing to talk about today. Is, overall, we try to eat clean, prep our food, cook home meals, use real ingredients, and, just overall try to keep the diet locked in, not eating too many calories, staying on your macro goals, whatever those may be for whatever your goals, body weight, all that is. But a lot of people, I think, kind of end up missing out on is, the good stuff in life. Going out and eating, sitting around with people, that entertainment factor and socializing kind of takes a hit if you're a little too locked in. Not that that's a bad thing, but if you're grinding away at it day after day after day after day, eventually you're going to hit that wall of like, oh man, it's like I want to eat something bad, right? And then it's like, oh, that was good. And then all of a sudden you have that craving. And it's real hard to avoid that craving if you've already denied yourself for so long. So I think for most people, it's actually pretty beneficial, to not necessarily every week, but, try every other week enjoying something, have some pizza, have some ice cream, candy bar or something. But still try to stay around your macros, or not even necessarily your macros on that day, but your calories. So, if you're locked in on cutting, and you're at 2,200 calories, if you go up to 2,800, 3,000 for one day, that ain't going to do nothing. It ain't no big deal. Nothing's going to change from that. Just don't look at the scale for 2 or 3 days after that, but you'll be back to normal real fast. If you're chilling in maintenance, 2,400, 3,000 calories, somewhere in there for the average person, you're not going to have a big problem, eating that 2,800, 3,600 calorie day. No big deal there. Now, if you're already bulking, that you're already, let's just say, enjoying life, most likely. So, kind of really doesn't apply there on that aspect. Now, I mean, if you're on a clean bulk or something, that pizza might help you. But overall, you got to remember, we're not machines. So you got to be able to get out there and enjoy things and time around with family and whatnot. So 1 second here. Alright. But, so, you don't gotta take the dieting that serious all of the time. I mean, if you're in competition prep, that's a different story. But, let's be honest, the amount of us in a comp prep isn't normally going to be that many. So, that is a whole different league of its own right there. But I think the nuances of, being on a diet, being told how to eat, eating super strict, it does kind of wear you down after a while. Especially if you enjoyed a bunch of junk before you're on a diet, and then you end up on a diet due to health reasons or something. Ooh, man, those people, they're gonna be angry. They get grumpy. And you gotta give them a little break here and there. So, because otherwise, they're just not gonna care. They're gonna give up on it. And then there's just gonna be, hostility about the fact that you can't eat that way. Because you have some issues going on that you gotta fix. But it kind of is what it is. So, you've got to make sure you're giving yourself those little breaks. So that way when you do have it, you don't spiral out of control with it. You could just have your one meal and you're content. Then you can look forward to the next one in, a week or two. And it makes it definitely quite a bit easier to stay to a better eating habits. So, at least it helps me doing that. I kind of tend to like to diet a little more aggressively on the normal, and then kind of have like a large cheat meal on a weekly basis. But that way my average caloric deficit is low. And I've noticed by doing that way for me, it works out pretty well, at least overall for maintaining my weight. But we have been having some wild issues with the scale. So my weight is just all over the place, and I've been eating the exact same thing every day now for, 6 weeks, maybe almost 7 weeks. But tomorrow we've got our blood draw at the doctor's for physical here in 10 days. So, I'll have those results later on this week. Hopefully, there's something that kind of just sticks out in it that gets to my energy levels, mood swings, all that stuff, and overall the like fatigue, energy output, all that stuff gets kind of solved with that, along with why the scale and overall physique is not progressing the way it should be, or at least the way I feel like it should be, and whatnot. But, man, my allergies are tore up. The pollen in the air today is wild. But I just finished up the first 2.5 mile walk. So, gotta go relax. And that'll be it for today's little video. Just a little TED Talk on making sure you enjoy eating and it's okay to break your diet. So, we're not machines. So with that though, make sure you're out there, getting your stuff done, working towards your goals, most of all. Just don't be a lazy fuck.